Here we are inside the Coachman VIP 575. If we first move to the main control panel, we will press this button here and turn the 12 volt on. Once we've done this, we can then turn the water pump on and off on this button here. So water pump on, water pump off. We then have the main isolator for the majority of the lights. They can then all be individually turned on and off on their own switches. If they are these touch lights underneath here, once they've been turned off, you do need to then touch them to turn them back on again. And then we have the awning light on and off just here. Information is then given via scrolling. So at the moment it's letting us know we've got main supply connected and it's displaying the time. It will then display the voltage of the battery, the internal temperature. Then we have the settings menu. All we do is we just press enter here, and then within this we have display, so we can change the contrast, etc., how long before it goes out of standby, etc., just there. We then have whether or not you want the temperature displayed in Celsius or Fahrenheit. Notifications to let you know when your leisure battery's low, etc. If you lose main supply. The firmware it's running, which is more for the technicians. And then just save and exit everything. And we just go round and round in a big circle until we return back to the time again. Beside this, we then have the control panel for the Aldi heating and hot water. So on and off on this button just here. As you can see, it will let you know if you have main supply connected and will also give you an internal temperature. If I now press menu, we can then bring up the basic functions. So you will see we have at the top here the thermostat for the heating. So just literally plus and minus, just pick whatever temperature you want it to be inside the caravan. Next we have a picture of a shower head, which is hot water. So that is hot water on. And then that is hot water on a boost. The boost is extremely handy if there's going to be more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other. If you do perform the boost and the heating is running, it will turn the heating off because it needs to use the extra power. After thermostat and hot water, we then have power source. So currently we haven't selected the power source, so the unit's actually doing nothing at the moment. So if I now hit plus here, we're now running on main supply using 1 kilowatt, or main supply using 2 kilowatts, or main supply using 3 kilowatts, just dependent on the amperage of the site that you're on. If you do not have mains available, you can run on gas, or if you have both available, you can run in dual fuel, which is extremely handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. If we now press the cog, it will take us into the settings menu, and you'll see we have a moon and a sun for timers. So we have a night timer just here, night mode on and off just here. We can then set the temperature just here, and then we can set the time period just here. We can also invert the backlight by highlighting this one. And we can also turn off hot water, which is extremely handy again if you are wild camping. It saves you wasting gas when you're asleep. The day mode is virtually the same again, but obviously just for the day. As you can see. Prioritise is what the system prioritises in using when using dual fuel. So it's currently set to prioritise main supply over gas. So once you're up to temperature, it will cut the gas off and maintain on the electricity. If you are on a low amp site, it will then obviously use more gas, less electric. This one here is just brightness of the screen, etc. This one's not used on this model. And then this one here is obviously to set the correct time, day of the week, etc. And if you tick show, it will show you on the home screen. If we then arrow down, we have antimicrobial just here. This one needs to be used in conjunction with the night mode, and then at about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, the boiler would then come on to kill off any bacteria that may be in it. Temperature offset for the thermostats, if you don't think it's quite correct, you can just tweak it by a few degrees. High altitude mode, so if you are using the caravan in altitudes above 1,000 meters, just activate that. Button beeps, instead of having multiple timers, you can just have one timer start and stop. Pump settings, just leave on thermal. Full factory reset if there is a problem. External start, you do have to have additional SIM boxes, etc. added. Language. Service is more for the workshop, but it will let you know what everything is up to. So as you can see at the moment, the glycol level is at 55 degrees and the water temperature is at 53. And then installed accessories within here. The only one that's really of any use is this one here, which is load monitor. So if I now highlight that, that will then appear here. So if you arrive on site and you know how many amps it is, we can pick, say, 10 amps if it's a 10 amp site. And then it doesn't matter that you're running on 3 kilowatts here, it will limit itself. Next we have the location of the consumer unit just down here. So we have all the trips along here. So we have the individual MCBs, the RCD and the test button just there. And then we have all the individual 12 volt fuses, again all labelled up, so if there is a problem it does make it nice and easy to diagnose. If we now go underneath this bench seat, we then have the location of the the Aldi boiler, which is just here. So all we really need to know about the Aldi boiler is how to drain it down for winterization, and that is done on this yellow lever here and this yellow lever here. All we need to do is flap them so they're pointing upwards, like so, and it will then drain all the water out of the boiler. I always suggest, especially when fully winterizing the van, that you also open up all your taps, because that won't release any airlocks. And also, if it was a harsh frost, what we hope will happen is the water will be forced out the end of the taps into an icicle instead of expanding the pipework and splitting it. When it comes to filling it back up again, make sure that both drain taps are flapped over as they are now. Fill up your aqua roll, drop in your submersible, turn the water pump on, and it will begin to prime the system. The taps will cough and splutter for a little while. Once the water is running freely, you can then close your taps and then the system will be fully pressurized. We then have the box for the alarm just here, and the box for the motor mover just here. You will see there's a little R for reset just there, so if you are having problems connecting up to the handset, what you can do is press that reset button there. The lights will flash here and here. Once they do so, turn on the handset and it will reconnect. We then have gas isolation taps here, all in the on position. I always say they can really stay where they are. I always say smell gas in the van, turn the gas bottle off. Obviously the back of the consumer unit there, also the battery charger is located there as well. If we go back up again, we have the television aerial just here, so undo the collar to then raise the mast and twist around to get into the position you require, and then just make sure that the digital amplifier is turned on up here and control the boost just there. We have the head unit just here, on and off on the button that says SRC. And then it's volume control just here. Change tracks or search for radio stations just here. To change anything, push the volume button in, and then you can go into its menu and then change anything from graphic equalizers, etc. to illumination. Turn back off just by holding the SRC button back in again. Down here you will see an occasional green flashing light, which is the PIR sensor for the alarm. The alarm fob looks like this. The top button is a torch. The button beneath that is the arm and disarm button. So we have one beep armed, two beeps disarmed. We then have awning light on and off on this one here, and then the one beneath that is the letter P, which stands for program. You can't accidentally do anything just by pressing it. You do have to hold it down for 10 seconds and then look at the PIR. You can basically put the alarm into high wind mode or pet friendly mode. It's always advisable that you read the little instruction leaflet that comes in your handbook. We have the microwave just here. Always a good idea to make sure that the plate is all removed for travel. This is an eco microwave, so you do have to hold the eco button in to firstly wake it up, and then it behaves like any normal microwave. You've got your quick start, you've got your stop just here, and then your power settings, etc. as well. The Dometic fridge in this caravan is an automatic model, so if we turn it on just here, it's currently in automatic, so it will find the best power source it can for us. So because we're hooked up to main supply at the moment, it's put us onto mains. If I then went outside and pulled the mains lead out, it would then automatically go over to gas, and as soon as you start the engine of your tow vehicle, it will then automatically go over to 12 volt maintain. We can take it out of auto, so I can manually put it onto gas, or I can manually put it onto 12 volt maintain. Because we're not hitched up at the moment, we're getting a beeping noise and a little red flashing light just here to let us know that there's a problem. This is the noise you'll also hear if it fails to light on gas or you have no main supply connected. If it's failed to light on gas but you think it may just be down to a bit of air in the system, what you can do is press this button here and it will then reset and try again. Temperature control just here, and then it's just pushed down and open. We then have the sink just here. And then the hob just here, so we have the one electric hot plate just there, which operates on this dial just here. Red light comes on to let you know it's in operation, and then everything else is then gas. So we have all of the hobs just here, and it is just push in, twist and press the igniter just like so. And then beneath that we have the grill, and then beneath that we then have the oven. With the oven you do not need to use the igniter. As soon as you push in, it will begin to ignite. Beneath the oven you will find where the hot plate is plugged in. If we then move into the bedroom, in the wardrobe here, you'll see that is where the microwave is plugged in, and then we have the header tank for the Aldi boiler. So in here is Aldi solution, so it's a mixture of ethylene glycol, etc. Make sure that the level in the header tank is between the minimum and the maximum. Always take your reading once your heating has been run up to temperature, as it will expand. You can top it up yourself, but do make sure that you're using the correct Aldi top-up solution. We then have the bed, and the whole bed comes up on gas struts with plenty of storage beneath it. And then as we come into the washroom, we have the shower and the basin, and then the Dometic toilet just here. Again, works very similar to the Thetford toilets. You'll see you have your flush button just here. It will let you know when the header tank needs filling back up again if you've not correctly inserted the cassette, and it will let you know when the cassette is half full and completely full. And to open to the cassette on these particular ones, whereas with the Thetford ones it's usually a lever that slides from side to side, this one just pulls out like so.